My grandfather's parents immigrated to the United States from Russia when they were teenagers. Morris Moldov, previously Moldavsky, was born in Moldavia in Russia on May 1st, 1890. When he was 6 years old, he and his family moved to Kishinev, Russia. His family owned and ran an inn until the 1903 Russian pogrom, when it was destroyed. My great-grandfather was 16 years old when he first arrived on the SS Haverford in Philadelphia in April 25th, 1906. His family assimilated into the United States within a generation, and in the first decade they had been living in the United States, they'd become citizens, found work, and started families, my great-grandfather included. My great-grandmother, Gertrude Doran, was born in Kishinev, Russia in 1892. Her family later moved to Odessa, where she survived the 1905 Russian pogrom. She described it as a terrifying experience. Some of the young men had gathered to defend her and the other Jews, and when the slaughter was over, Gertrude, only 12, had already begun to feel survivor's guilt. When Gertrude was 13 years old, her father, Akiva Doran, sent money from America so she, her mother, and brother could immigrate to the United States as well. They walked 1,038 miles from Odessa to Hamburg, Germany, and once there they had actually missed their boat. Broke and left without any options, the three walked another 1,038 miles back to Odessa until more money could be saved up. Once they had saved enough money for the tickets, my great-grandmother and her family walked back to Hamburg, where this time they finally were able to catch their boat. They met up with Akiva and her family started a bakery. The family worked in relative peace until 1910, when a young immigrant boarding and helping out at their bakery asked for permission to court Gertrude. Gertrude and her parents turned him down, and he had decided that if he couldn't have her, then nobody could have her. Closet one day, and while my great-grandmother was fixing her hair, he attempted to shoot her. She had seen the gun poking out of the closet and was able to turn enough so that the bullet only grazed her. Her suitor thought that she had been killed, then turned his own gun on himself and committed suicide, not being able to live without her. My great-grandfather was reading the Yiddish newspaper, Der Tag, one day, and he found an article reporting the shooting of Gertrude Doran. Back in Russia, the Moldavskys, now the Moldovs, had been friends with the Doran family, and although they had not seen each other for years, the Moldovs went and visited Gertrude in the hospital. Morris soon moved in with the Dorans to learn the baking trade, and although the work was hard and the hours were long, he didn't mind, for he too had fallen in love with my great-grandmother. This time, however, Gertrude accepted the marriage proposal, and they were married on January 14th, 1913. He was 23 and she was 21. My great-grandparents owned a dairy in Bordentown, New Jersey. Gertrude, however, missed her mother, so they moved back to Philadelphia, where they bought a bakery at 16th and Dauphine Streets. Their first child, Anna, was born, and Lottie followed soon after. Their grandmother, Zippa Doran, doted on both of them. Just after Lottie was born, Morris became sick with the Asian flu. Several family members were drafted, and Anna caught erysipelas poisoning before she was even 2. My poor great-grandmother had to take care of the bakery, her mother, her husband, her newborn baby, and Anna, who was close to death. When Anna died, her parents were devastated, and Gertrude lived with the grief for the rest of her life. soon recovered from his sickness and became absorbed into his work, remodeling the bakery and finding more ways to get business. My grandfather and his sister Clara were also born in the years after Anna's death. My grandfather was the youngest in his family and is the baby in this picture. His grandmother, Zippa Doran, is holding him. Even though times were sometimes tough for the Moldoff family, my grandfather and his sisters had a happy childhood. When they grew older, his sisters got married, and he went into the army. After World War II, which my grandfather had fought in as an engineer, he met my grandmother at a party, which he was invited to by a friend. They were married on December 31st, 1949. Gertrude died 2 years later on the New Year's Eve of 1951. Morris never fully got over her death, and he died February 12, 1959.